Before we begin, I'd like to say that if you enjoy the video, please consider subscribing. It'll make my day. It was 2002. Gabe Newell and team were hoping to announce Half-Life 2 at that year's E3. But the problem was, the demo reel that they had prepared to show to the people was not what Gabe wanted. He wanted to show off the physics rather than the graphics or the characters. They cancelled their appearance and planned to announce Half-Life 2 at E3 2003. There is more, but let's just take a stop for a moment. In the leaked files, there is a map pack for E3 2002. There are 6 in total. We'll go through them one by one. I'm not going to show the sequences or the gameplay, but rather just the maps themselves. Let's take another look at the Half-Life 2 beta. First, we have E3_depot. The depot is a cut level from Half-Life 2. As far as I understand, it was cut to make way for the Nova Prospect levels. This map isn't that special, to me at least. The concept is that in this version of Half-Life 2, the Combine had drained the oceans and that left the seabed completely dry. So basically in this map, we're walking where the sea would have been. You can see some rusted ships here as well, just sitting there. There's this huge train track that leads to the depot. The depot itself is a prison, at least that's what I know by looking at the exterior. There's no interior parts in this map. I like this huge, dark structure besides the prison. Apart from that, not much else. However, I did feel that this looked more retail than what we saw in the beta from 2001. Then again in 2002, they had the design finalized, the look and the feel. The dark and the gritty stuff that we saw was before 2002. E3_industrial is a map that I was surprised to see in here. You'll recognize it too. It's basically the final version of the first beta map we saw in my first City 17 video. It starts off from this room. You can still feel the 2001 remnants in this map, from the textures and how the map is designed. This map is congested. At least it feels like that, claustrophobic. Compared to the openness of the retail version, the congestion adds to the mood of misery. It is still a bit brighter though, thanks to the change in the sky and the overall ambient lighting. This map feels mostly well lit. This plot point would have caused so much problems for Valve. They would have been sued for this. But thankfully, this was not in the final version of the game. The biggest difference in this map is that instead of the stenographer's chasm, it's this huge hallway with machinery. A massive hall that stretches on and on with metal contraptions spinning round and round. It's funny, you know, how video game maps can hold so much value, especially these ones. Sentimental value, I guess. These beta maps take it to the next level. It's like looking into an alternate timeline where things are different, and in turn we think maybe we would have been different as well. E3 underscore ship. I'm not that amazed by this map. It's cool, I guess. This is the Borealis, a ship that is a major plot point in the Half-Life story. Episode 3 would have been all about this ship. But in the beta, the ship got tossed around in regards to the story. First, Mark Laidlaw, the writer of Half-Life 1 and 2, wanted Half-Life 2 to start from the Borealis. Gordon wakes up on the ship and sees that he's heading for City 17. Then they changed the story again and made it appear somewhere after the Air Exchange chapter. Then they removed it entirely from the retail game, only to return in the episodes. The ship is also alluded to in the Portal games, since those games take place within the Aperture Science Labs, and in the story, Borealis was made by Aperture Science Labs. E3 underscore Strider. This is an interesting map. Think of it as a precursor to Follow Freeman, the chapter from Half-Life 2. It's that chapter where Gordon and the Resistance members fight back against the Combine. What's interesting is that earlier they included the older American design of City 17 in E3 underscore Industrial, but here the map is clearly designed to look European, much closer to the retail version. But there's something about the lighting in this map. I can't quite put my finger on it, but this looks way better than retail in my opinion. And also, that sky texture, like a painting in the sky. The map itself is a showcase of the Striders, as the map's name implies. There's also a cut enemy that appears in this map, the Hydra. There were some technical difficulties, so the team had to remove this enemy from the final game. The rest of the map is, well, great. I really like the design choices they made here. But I guess for the retail version, they made it brighter by changing the sky texture and the overall map lighting. E3 underscore terminal is another map that I recognized instantly. This was also one of the first maps that I saw in the 2001 beta, although this one is heavily updated. It resembles that area in the retail game, that front side area of the train station. Interestingly, this also has a train station here. The map's lighting is similar to the previous one, more golden rather than bright. The rest of it looks almost retail quality, given that it was going to be part of the E3 2002 showcase. They might have polished up the in-development maps to make them more presentable. The citadel in these maps look more alien than the one we looked at in my previous video. At least, the exterior of it. This is something that the Combine would design. The rest of the map is pretty much self-explanatory. I'm not sure what the sequence here would be, but it is a good map. And now, the reason why I'm making this video. E3 underscore town. Do I even need to say anything? Just look at that scene. Absolutely breathtaking. And keep in mind, this was 2002. This was leaps ahead of the competition. This was the same year Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, GTA Vice City, Medal of Honor Allied Assault, and Battlefield 1942 came out. Those games Although they are amazing games, they would have never even touched close if Half-Life 2 would have been released in 2002. This is basically a beta version of Ravenholm. Honestly, it's my least favorite chapter from the retail game. The only thing I like about it is the inclusion of Father Gregory. But apart from that, it's just, I don't really care about it. But if that chapter began like this map, then it would have been my favorite map. I noticed a pattern in most of these maps. A lot of them share some similar elements, like a cloudy sky or sunsets, and of course, lighting that makes you depressed, like here. The rest of it is pretty much the standard Ravenholm we all know. And that's it for this video. Those were the maps that would have been shown at E3 2002. Maps that never were. Thank you for watching.